Hello and welcome to another edition of the NRS Insights podcast. I'm John Lovestock, and today I am joined by Brandon Thurber, who is the Vice President of Data Sales and Client Success at National Retail Solutions. And today we will be discussing the NRS Insights October 2024 Retail Same Store Sales Report. How are you, Brandon? How's everything going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. For those of you who don't know, the NRS report, NRS in general, has an expansive reach in retail. The network has more than 33,000 active terminals nationwide, scanning purchases at approximately 29,000 independent retailers, including convenience stores, bodegas, liquor stores, grocery stores, and tobacco stores nationwide, and they predominantly serve urban customers. So, Brandon, for October, it looks like we've had some mixed numbers. Same store sales increased 3.7% year over year. Units sold were up 2.8% year over year, and transactions were up 1.6% year over year. Any other insights into those numbers?
Yeah, so I think that predominantly these are independent stores, so mostly are non-food service. So when food non-food service trips are up almost 2%, that's a pretty strong month year over year. So that's more consumers choosing to shop to these independent retailers, spending more money, buying more things. Those things are typically, and we've seen tremendous growth in smokeless tobacco category, which is that alternative nicotine driving that. And then surprisingly, because it's not up everywhere, but beer, RTD cocktails, and spirits still have strong months.
Which is something I wanted to get into because October was Halloween. Halloween is known for giving out candy and chocolate. Of course, everyone loves chocolate. Well, almost everyone loves chocolate, but those were flat. And what was up? Beer, alcohol, the good stuff. So, is that what the numbers showed? What did you see?
Yeah, apparently trick-or-treating is taking on a different evolution these days. Uh, Chocolate, any kind of on-the-go sweet treat is facing some headwinds. There's a variety of reasons why that could be happening. It could be, price driven, it could be diet consciousness, but we are still seeing some growth in those bevel categories.
And I did see, which is kind of scary because this is something that Susie had brought up once before that, the Ozempic craze, I'm using Ozempic as a generic term for the different weight management injections, is having an impact on sales, consciously or unconsciously. People maybe are eating more, they're snacking or eating less, snacking less, etc. But that Ozempic applied for an application to be used as an alcohol deterrent. When you're taking Ozempic, you drink less, and it wasn't. I don't know what the science is behind it, but that's all we need now is for this drug to start impacting our alcohol sales and hurting our stores even more.
Yeah, that's interesting. I had not seen that. But it's not indicative of our numbers quite yet. Like I said, the Beval is going strong. I mean, you could probably make some inferences if you're eating less junk food or you're drinking less. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think our wellness track is bulletproof yet. For instance, we still see a ton of non-alcoholic beverage being high sugar intake.
Mhm.
So you might be fuller, you might not need to consume as much food or drink a six pack, but the purchases are still there. And that's another thing that's kind of interesting and unique about our network that we've cited before. The average consumers in our store 4 to 7 times a week, so it's a very high frequency, very loyal consumer, and 60% of our beer unit sales are single serve. So that's a interesting transaction. That's an impulse transaction that a lot of brands could do a good bit with.
Sure. And I think it shows I try to visit stores almost every day. And while not scientific, the beer section is definitely shrinking in stores, and the alternative beverage, the vodka infused drinks, is definitely getting bigger. You'll see multiple doors now of these, whether it's vodka or wine infused drinks. They really are taking off.
Yeah, I think that we saw this probably 3 or 4 years ago. Start with everything is all about flavor. The 21 plus legal drinking age adults definitely prefer flavor versus you know I hate to use the term plain beer, but your traditional lager or light beer. There's definitely a shift in that preference.
Oh, 100%. And this younger generation, really starting with White Claws, now there's just that kind of transformed this whole category. And the numbers are up, right? I mean, you're showing that it's month to month since we've been doing this podcast, numbers have virtually gone up every month.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of opportunity. So F&B seltzer cider is up almost 5%. The RTD space continues to grow at 15 to 20%. Some are now calling that the fourth category, being able to take in the ready to drink wines, the spirits, and kind of that malt beverage that's more RTD,
Mhm.
and saying that that is really where the growth is.
Now, aside from confections and alcohol and or adult beverages, any other lift from Halloween that you were tracking or that you noticed in terms, whether it's baking or in the stores that you track?
Not particularly, but a little bit of a different trend. Energy drinks did see kind of a flat or slightly up month. We have seen those kind of decline. But an interesting deeper dive there is it doesn't, people aren't all of a sudden less tired or less need for energy. There seems to be more of consumers seeking an energy alternative. So whether that is maybe not coffee, but some sort of shot or supplement, that is providing that. Those seem to be growing in popularity.
Maybe it's the holidays. People try to extend the day a little more, get a few more hours out of a busy day or get up earlier. Um, it's a natural, C-stores are a natural outlet for those types of products. Now, this is the holiday season, really. We're really right in the middle of it at this point. Just Thanksgiving right around the corner. What kind of trends are you seeing? Any early indications that Thanksgiving will be a boost to our store sales?
Yeah, so typically urban stores see a slight dip during Thanksgiving. Everybody goes home to grandma's house or dad's house or mom's house, and those are typically your older suburban homes that sees a slight decrease. However, it does bounce back around the end of December, New Year's. Spirit sales always take off, traffic picks up, so it'll be interesting to take a look at what that looks like.
One thing I never did in my time in the trades, I mean, I was an editor in trade magazines for what, almost 25 years. I was always impressed with like a chain like 7-Eleven and they would get into the Christmas, and it evolved. It started small, but last year they were selling drones and remote control cars and some really nice Christmas gifts. I've never tracked their sales. Have you guys ever taken a look I mean, it's successful. It's a high ring. Some of these gifts can be, 89, $99.
Yeah, so that's a tough category for us to track in terms of distribution. But what I can tell you is that could be similar is batteries.
Mhm.
Batteries in convenience store in the month of December has its biggest month. And it's that on the go purchase. It's no different than a candy bar. It satisfies a need. It's on the go. Oh, I'm running here. I need a quick gift, and it's available to that consumer, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
It's like gift cards, I think, in drugstores. Do you know how many times on my way to my parents' house where I've stopped and got them gift cards on Christmas Eve at Walgreens? I'd like to say I'm more buttoned down than that, but they're there. You can count on them, and you're seeing more convenience stores now get into gift cards, I think, for that very reason.
Yeah, it's all about meeting consumer demand.
Okay. Any other trends you want to put on your magic hat that we could maybe keep an eye on that we could talk about next month for November and leading into early December?
Yeah, November, we start to definitely see another level of weather change, especially in the Northeast and in the Northwest. So consumer preferences may change with that. So that'll be something that we'll take a look at in terms of soft drinks, or maybe there's a different preference. And then in December, we're interested in tracking how far is this RTD craze gone? Will we see an impact to the bottled spirits, or will that still be your typical holiday choice? Mix, bottle of vodka, bottle of tequila in a mixer, or will it be a predominant RTD preference?
Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is. I guess these kids today will never know the joy of going to the liquor store and shopping for the ingredients to make a margarita when you can just buy it all in one can now.
Out of the can, pop the lid, and then if you want to be fancy, you pour it in a glass. If not, you just drink it right out of the can.
Oh man, they'll never get to experience that smile of walking up to the register, letting everyone know, yep, tonight I'm making margaritas.
Yep, Taco Tuesday and a can of margarita will suffice, I guess.
Well, good, Brandon. I want to thank you again and thank everyone for tuning in to another edition of the NRS Insights podcast. Can you tell everyone before we go where they can track your reports and track your numbers?
Sure. It comes out within the first 5 business days of the month. You can set your Google alerts to the NRS same store sales report for whichever month, or you can go to our parent company, IDT.net.
Great. Thanks, Brandon. And on behalf of Brandon, I'm John Lovestock. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're seeing this before Thanksgiving. And we look forward to having you on a future NRS Insights podcast. Have a good afternoon, everyone.